Okay, welcome to today's episode of Sunday Dinner with Fortune. Alright people, so we asked a question on Facebook about some recipes, what people wanted me to see cooked today. I posed a question about marinara sauce, and then I did get some responses back saying, yes, you want to see marinara sauce. So that is what we're going to do, is marinara sauce. So, if you have any questions about what's going on in the episode, you go see the recipe on below this video. And I want to ask you today, go ahead and send me your comments about what you would like to see me cook on this show. About to get started. Be right back. Okay, so today's episode of marinara sauce, I'm just going to give one of my recipes, a foundational, the basic marinara sauce for you. Alright, of course we're going to have some tomatoes. I got 2 cans of tomatoes here. They're already diced, and you just want it in water. You don't need anything extra. You don't need any extra spices or anything like that. 2 cans of tomato sauce. Got an onion here. I'm going to use a yellow onion. Okay, it's a little bit sweeter to have a yellow onion. And then I just have some carrots. I'm going to go through the whole process of chopping up the carrots, so I have some carrots. Okay? Last thing we have to do, usually I add a little bit of celery to it. Not going to add any celery to it today. Not going to worry about that. So here's the process though. What we're going to do is we're going to have we have 4 parts. My portions for the tomato sauce are 4 portions, 4 counts of tomatoes, diced tomatoes, to 2 portions of onion, to 1 portion of carrots, and 1 portion of the celery. Alright? So if you want to think about it a different way, so you can think about it, you can have you got 2 cups, if you have 2 cups of tomatoes, then you're going to have 1 cup of onion, diced onion. You have half a cup of both celery and half a cup of carrots to go along with that. That's the basic recipe for myself. And of course you're going to add some seasonings to it towards the end. And cannot forget to have garlic. Gotta have garlic. Okay? I mean, unless you're allergic to it, but I'm sorry for you. If you're allergic to garlic, I'm so sorry for you. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up this onion. And so first we're going to find the core here, split it down the center in half, save this for later. Now, the thing about onions is a lot of people take their onions and they put the onions in the refrigerator. You don't need to put an onion in the refrigerator. It's actually not good for the onion to be in the refrigerator until you actually cut it open. Once you cut it open, then you can go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. But when you first get an onion, just like potatoes, a lot of root vegetables, you don't necessarily have to have them in the refrigerator. They actually taste better when they're not starting off in the refrigerator. So I'm going to go ahead and get this peeled here. A little trash can, so to speak, right here. I got that from Rachel Ray. I used to watch her show a lot often. She always had a little bowl out there to put all of her stuff in there. In her first couple episodes. Rachel Ray's kind of cool. I'd like to meet her one day. That'd be really kind of cool to meet Rachel Ray. So, I'm going to get this outer layer peeled off of here and show you a quick dice on here. We're not even going to dice this today because since these are not diced, these are the sliced carrots. We want to try to keep them consistent so they cook at the same speed, okay, the same rate. So instead of going to do a dice, I'm going to cut it similar to these little strips here, okay? The way I'm going to do that, so I'm turning this sideways, and again, we're going to use a knuckles. You've got to do like a little claw like this, so you can cut this very simply, okay? I'm going to have a small dice here because we're going to put these onions in here, but the carrots are going to come in there later. Start off with onion. And then I'm going to use bigger strips, so not so small that I normally would. Normally I'd go about the same distance, like between each cut slice I went here, I'd do the same slice going the opposite direction, cross switch. Alright, if I really want to get real technical, I go all 3 different directions. This way, and this way. But I'm just going to go here, and then go right back across here. I'm going to do 2 cuts here. That should be big enough. Boom. Boom. There we go. Okay? Now I'm going to save that for later. I'm not going to get rid of that. But there's onions we need right there. So you think about it, I'm not going to be using all of these onions. I'm probably going to use, or all these carrots. Probably going to use about that much of it, which is about half of it. You can just eyeball if you really want to. Or if you're about to cup out, if you really wanted to get technical with it, put it in there in the cup. Cool. That's 8 ounces of onions right there. Again, if you think about it here, we got 2 cans of tomatoes. We got to count the juices, and even though it says that they are 14.5 ounces, it's really not that. It's not that. There's a lot of water in there also. So you think about that there. Half of these right here. Okay. So since we don't have the celery, I'm putting some celery today, I want to do add a little different flavor to it. So I'm taking these small peppers, the sweet peppers right here. I'm going to make this one a little bit sweeter today. Even though I got a little spice, got to have a little spice for my sweetness. Alright, so very simple. These little small ones are smaller, so the flavor's more concentrated. They're actually more of a sweet pepper because they're not the green peppers. The yellow, and we got some orange over here just to add a little bit of color to it. Very simple to cut these open. Cut the tops off. Boom. Don't really need the seeds. Alright. And I'm just going to cut this into strips. Cut it open. Spread them out. Boom. Cut into strips. The reason why I'm not really worried about it cutting too small is because in the end we're actually going to blend this in the processor so we can make the sauce actually smooth. I like my sauces smooth. For this particular sauce anyway. Again, we're going to do about half of this. So, I'm going to do about 5 or 6 of these small peppers. I'll pull the little pieces out, the pith and the seeds out. There's not as much pith, P-I-T-H, in these small peppers as there are in the larger pepper. Now pith is what gives the pepper a bitter taste. Alright. Let's do one more. See, that's coming in handy, isn't it? Not to keep opening the garbage can, keep stepping on it, pop them in there, and dump it all at one time. Okay. And I'm not too worried about there's a seed or 2 in there. We're going to put red peppers in there anyway. Boom. Again, we're still using this claw when we're cutting it. And I'm not trying to be too perfect right now. I'm getting it cut. Oop. Cutting board is sliding. Boom. You know, some people, you can do this marinara sauce very, very simply. If you had some fresh herbs, you like basil, just use basil and some parsley to go in here. I'm actually going to use, for this recipe, I'm just going to use a blend of dried herbs. And that's about enough. I'm going to use a blend of some dried herbs here. They're Italian seasoning blend, favorite Italian seasoning blend. Now the onions should be about ready. I'm going to put same amount of carrots over here. Now if you use too much of either of these carrots, it's definitely going to come out in the flavors. You don't want a whole lot. Again, you want to be, these amounts of the carrots and your celery, which I'm replacing with red peppers today, with the bell peppers here today. Oh, that's just a little too much. I mean, look at it, you can eyeball it, they're about the same right there. You think those are, this amount should be the same as this amount in here. There's your good gauge. Cool. So now we're going to go back over to the pan. I can smell the oil starting to get warm. And put the onions in. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly when my other camera cut off. So just to recap some things I did in here, what we have here is we had the onions put into the pan, into the saucepan first. We let those caramelize for about 2 to 3 minutes, just the onions. To the onions we then added the carrots and the peppers, and again replaced the peppers with for the celery today. After that, we let that cook for another 3-4 minutes. To that we added the garlic, a tablespoon of garlic. Then we added 3 tablespoons of the Italian seasonings. We added about a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Then we added a half a teaspoon of tomato paste to this. Okay? Stirred that all up real good. And from there, we added the tomatoes here. 2 cans of tomatoes all going in here. So that's what we got going. I turned the temperature up on that so they get to boiling, and it's up to boiling now. So what we're going to do now is turn the temperature down to low, and we're going to cover this pan. And I'm going to show you a trick. I do have a lid for this, but to show you a trick for people who do not have a lid, you can use a plate if you like, but the plate's going to get hot. So what you can do is take yourself one of your another pan, right? It's a regular old pan, and put it on top of there. Now I've just sealed that pan. Alright, I got the temperature down to low to let that just simmer. That's going to take a while, so we're going to pause the camera, let you come back to see it when it's finished. Alright, so we've got the sauce cooking back there in the background. Things didn't go perfectly with the video, but show must go on, right? Alright, so I posted this to Facebook on my Facebook fan page. That's D Arlando Fortune. That's on Facebook. I posted this question. The main thing that's stopping me from achieving my goal is fill in the blank. I got some different responses back from them. I do thank everyone that responded to that post. A lot of things that was found on there were basically fell around time and fear. And the last thing I want to say on here was that there was a lack of confidence. Okay? Time, fear, and lack of confidence. Now, when it comes to the response to these questions, is one thing I found out in my own personal life. I've been through all of these. You know, I felt like I didn't have enough time to get all the things done that I wanted to get done. I felt I was afraid of success. I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of my own shadow. I was afraid that wasn't good enough. There's so many different things that I've been afraid of. I was just labeling my fear a whole bunch of different things. But it all came down to, again, the last thing, which is self-confidence. Now, in my opinion, my personal opinion, once we realize that we have all that we need, we have everything we need in us, it just comes down to a matter of persistence. Now, maybe you don't have all the time in the world, but when you start carving out all the time that you need out of a day, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe 15, maybe a half hour, to do the things that you really want to do for yourself, to build yourself up, you will find that as you grow, you'll find more, you'll enjoy the certain things that you enjoy, you'll start making time for those things that you enjoy, right? So it really comes back down to self-confidence, in my opinion. Okay? Time is something you're going to have to work with. You got 24 hours in the day. It's umpteen thousand minutes, hundreds of minutes, and umpteen thousand seconds in the day. What you do there with them is your own. So one thing I have learned to do to figure out where I'm wasting my time, I did this one technique, which was to track my time. You see, I also believe that, as Tucker says, that the things that we track, we manage the things that we track. So if we're trying to manage our time better, then we got to start tracking our activities. So what that means is, for like the next week, for a week, everything that you do, write it down, get your little notepad, one of the Mead notebooks or whatnot, and just every day write down from the time you get up what you're doing. Every hour, whatever, every minute, every 15 minutes, you train something, you write it down. I spent so-and-so amount of time getting in the bathroom, so-and-so amount of time driving to work, so-and-so amount of time at work, so-and-so amount of time when I was at lunch, so-and-so. And you just write it all the way down. List all those things down, how much time you did, and spent on each activity, and then do that for the whole week. At the end of the week, go back and review what you did. Then as you review it, you're going to find out there's certain things you could probably cut out of your day. Well, you know what? Maybe if I could cut down maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes of sleep time, I could take that time and put it towards reading a good book or watching a good video, listen to some good audio that'll help me get to where I want to go, or working in my business. Maybe if I started cutting out some more of the TV time, which I don't really watch TV. I watch the videos, and I watch the videos at late night. It's crazy. I do what I want to do, and then at the end of the day, I'd rather go out doing stuff. But at the end of the day, before I go to sleep, absolutely love movies. I love martial arts movies. Absolutely love martial arts movies. But I like a good movie, and I'll pop one in, and before I go to bed, I may or may not watch the end of the movie. Now, because I love movies, martial arts movies, I end up watching those. But now, the last thing we'll talk about here is the confidence. And I want to get into something I got about my preacher today at church. He talked about shameless persistence. And he goes on about the scripture and goes through that, right? But one of the last things he said in his sermon today really stuck out with me. And it plays right into what we're talking about with the self-confidence. He said that persistence defeats the quitter. Okay? He says that persistence defeats the quitter. When you keep doing, you keep going, you have the attitude that I will not give up. I will have what I want. Okay? And he goes so far as saying that when you're talking to you, when you have this dream, if you hold on to your dream and don't give up until it gives you what you want, you will be successful. This is my dream. I latched on to it. Get what I'm saying? You have a dream, latch on to that dream, and don't give up till you get what you want. Till that dream gives you what you want, you stay doing what you want. I'm talking about living a life of no doubt, just blessings. Okay? When you start realizing that you have to eliminate all these doubts in your life. Eliminate the doubt that you don't have enough time. You have time. Make it happen. Figure out how to do it. You're afraid of this? Face your fears. Period. I know I'm being harsh right now, but that's because I'm serious about this. You got to make that shift in yourself to go start doing what you want to do. And if you keep watching, keep coming along with me, I will help you get to where I'm moving forward in my life. I will teach you some of the things and introduce you to the books, introduce you to the teachings that I have gone through to get me where I'm moving forward, period. Okay? There is no stop. Persistence defeats the quitter. I even changed the other phrase where he says here. I love what he said here. I wrote it down. I take notes almost everywhere I go. But he said, don't allow the quitter within to find expression in your life. Don't allow the quitter within, because we all have that quitter in us. There's always something in the back of our head saying, oh, you ain't got to do that. Because one part of human nature tells us is that we don't have to go do anything. Human nature does not really like change. It wants to get to a certain point and just move forward. Okay? But we still evolve. The reason why we evolve is because there's people out there like me, people out there like you, who want to become better people. Okay? We can have more, do more, once we decide that, all right, I know I can keep doing what I'm doing and keep getting what I'm getting. That's what our basic nature does. That's our survival skills. We figure out what this is, and we get there, we get into a zone, and we stay there. However, when you want more, you got to step out and go do something. You got to step out. You got to be persistent with it until it becomes a new habit, and you move up to that next level. And once you got to that next level, you're going to want some more. Now, I'm not saying to be greedy. I'm not telling you about to be greedy. You ain't got to be greedy. You still have everything in moderation. But what I am saying is you can have more, do more, the things that you want to have in your life. You find out, I didn't know that I was going to like being on video. I know I like to talk. But I didn't know I was going to like doing video. I know it's going to be effective. I didn't know I was going to like cooking. Okay? Until I actually was introduced to it. My mom was telling me a story about a chef named Marvin Garvin, and he's on TV, and he has his own website, things of that nature. Now, what happened with him is, from the retelling of my mom's story, is he didn't know that he liked cooking. Okay, he was out behind. He used to spend a lot of time behind this restaurant. People would bring food out there, and he was eating. And one day, the owner comes out there, a manager comes out to the back door and was like, "I need a dishwasher." And so he's looking around like, "Huh? Are you talking to me?" Because he was the only one out there. He's like, "Yes, you. Come on." He's like, "All right." So he gets up, goes in and starts washing dishes. Next thing you know, he's a bona fide chef. He's on TV teaching about being a cook and the life of a chef. He didn't know that's what he wanted. Now, you never know that's going to happen until you take advantage of the opportunities that gives you, and you persist in what you're trying to do. You cannot quit. Don't allow that quitter within you to find expression in your life. And by finding expression in your life, what is my meaning behind that, and what I took from the sermon today, is that when you're allowing your quitter and you find expression in your life, you are allowing it to control your life. Because whatever you believe in your mind, your head, your thoughts, and going out and coming out of your mouth, you're expressing it through your mouth. You're expressing it through your actions. So that quitter and you're saying you ain't got time for this. The quitter and you're saying I don't have the confidence. The quitter and you're saying I'm afraid of this, but I'm afraid of that, but I'm afraid of that too. I'm afraid of being afraid. That's what you should be afraid of. Afraid of being afraid. Time to make some changes. Time to make some changes. And we can do that. Keep coming back. And I'll show you how to live a life of no doubt, just blessings. Love you. Alright, so I've had this been simmering for 4 hours. Looks great, smells great. So there's one last thing to put to this. We're going to take a tablespoon of butter and stir this into it. Stir this in. And one thing you're going to notice once you get here, you want to start seasoning with your salt and pepper. You're going to put a little the salt and pepper in there, and then you're going to taste it, salt and pepper, and taste it until you get the flavor profile that you want there for you. Before you get the seasoning and taste it. Then we're going to do one last thing here. We're going to take this and we're going to blend it. As I said before, I like mine a little creamy. So when we go to start blending this in the process here, you're going to do it in batches. You don't want to just dump all this stuff in there at one time. Some splattering back out. So, trusty ladle, and we're going to scoop it up. Well, all the goodies. All the goodies. Whew. Spill sauce on myself. Alright. Alright, there we are. Tomato sauce. Whew. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. I think it needs a little bit more salt. Or this is nice and creamy. A taste. Oh yeah. Oh, got a nice little spice in the end. There we are. Finished with a nice marinara sauce. Guys, try that at home. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and subscribe to a YouTube channel. The Orlando Fortune is my username. Same thing on Facebook. My fan page, The Orlando Fortune. Guys, try it out. Let me know. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below this on my fan page on Facebook. And if you have any other ideas you want me to try to make for you on camera here, show you how to make some type of recipe, go ahead and shoot me a question or comment, and please go ahead and like and share this video. I'll see you next week. I'm out.